Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I do want to speak about Julian Alvarez moving to FC Barcelona in the summer of 2026. There's plenty that we have to discuss for today's video. We're also going to be talking about Lenglet leaving FC Barcelona and going to Atlético Madrid on a free transfer. And then lastly, speak about Lamine Yamal being worth 200 million euros and what that does mean for Football Club Barcelona. So it's huge news. It's a bunch of big deals that is going on right now. But let's first talk about Julian Alvarez first. And it says here, according to Cadena Ser, that Barcelona wants to sign Julian Alvarez next year when Lewandowski departs from the club, with Joan Laporta already internally mentioning his name. Now, let's talk about why FC Barcelona do want Julian Alvarez and why this is a deal that we have been seeing coming from like miles away, right? This deal does make a lot of sense. So first of all, he is a 25-year-old Argentine forward currently playing for Atlético Madrid and of course the Argentinian national team. He's known for his versatility. Julian Alvarez can play as a central striker, as a second striker, attacking midfielder, and also as a winger. With Man City through the years of 2022 through 2023, he sometimes did play as a 10 and behind Erling Haaland to find more minutes, and he played in those positions very well. Ideally, he does like to play in the striker position though. So, formerly, even, before Man City, he was at River Plate for about four or 5 years between 2018 all the way until 2022. With Man City, he spent there, I think it was like 2 seasons with Man City between 2022 through 2024, and he won everything with Man City within that time frame, and they even won the treble. And because of that, you combine the treble, you combine the World Cup, Julian Alvarez quickly became one of the best strikers in the world, and then he eventually signed to Atlético Madrid back in 2024 for 95 million euros. So Julian Alvarez, in terms of like his life and the way that he came up, everything went at full speed. Like when he was 18, 19, 20 years old, everybody was like, okay, yeah, he's going to be a okay player. He looks decent, whatever. But just out of nowhere, as soon as he clocked in at 21 years old, everything was won just like that, right? He made those moves. He won a lot of trophies. He scores a lot of goals. And, to this day, with Atlético Madrid and in his first season, he has been very impressive. He scored 17 goals and provided 4 assists in his first season in La Liga. And honestly, this comes by no surprise, because if you're going to be able to score a lot of goals and be, I would just say, very on point with the way that you position yourself in the Premier League, of course you can do that in La Liga. Now, he's excellent at scoring goals in tight spaces and also on the counter. He has intelligent movement off the ball and clinical finishing. He combines technical finesse with, I would just say, instinctive attacking positioning, hence the reason why Julian Alvarez is always in the correct positions for some reason. And we're like, what the hell, like, where did you even come from? And a lot of defenders find it very hard to mark Julian Alvarez. And I would also say that, in terms of what makes him so special, I do think that it has to be the advanced game awareness and his decision making, because the runs that he makes, the way that he likes to clock in those runs, and the way that he likes to dribble the ball and really just try to maybe make space for his teammates, it's always like on point. Like I have no idea how he's able to find these type of solutions so quickly, but Julian Alvarez really is a player that can score goals, but is also a team player. He reads defenders well, finds pockets of spaces, he can break at defensive lines with precision runs and smart passes as well, especially effective in chaotic and transitional moments. So for example, if Barcelona, let's just say hypothetically speaking, if Julian Alvarez was at Barcelona and we were on the counter, Julian Alvarez can join us in the counterattacks, right? Because he does have the speed, he has the dribbling, he can very much combat with Raphinha and Lamine Yamal in terms of going for that attacking transition. Now, most importantly, I think that we have already discussed that he's a great team worker. He knows how to score goals for himself, and I do think that in terms of what Hansi Flick is looking for on the striker position, we are a team that likes to press extremely high and press aggressively. Julian Alvarez fits that profile because of his high energy pressing from the front type of work ethic. It's amazing. He averages 3.69 ball recoveries in the opposition half per 90 minutes, and that is ideal for managers who demand forwards to initiate defensive phases. He has a lot of stamina. He sacrifices a lot and makes him, suitable for demanding tactical setups. And once again, going back to the versatility, he's capable of playing centrally, wide, contributing to fluid attacking structures, filled for, I remember there were moments through the 2022-2023 season where he had to come in for Kevin De Bruyne because he was out for like 9 to 10 months. And, everybody was questioning, like, why would Pep put Julian Alvarez in the number 10 position? But he played in that in that position in a very amazing way as an attacking midfielder, showcasing his playmaking abilities. I think that it's really going to give us a lot of, I would just say, different solutions to what we want to have during specific games, how we want to have our lineups. We can have Julian Alvarez in some games play on the left wing position, maybe as a number 10, maybe as a striker. But ideally, I do think that he's going to find the striker position. I'm going to be explaining very quickly in just a few seconds where I do see Julian playing and who he's going to be revolved around, like who is he going to be playing with by the time we get into the summer of 2026. So I think that overall, Julian has impressed with River Plate. He has impressed with Man City. He has impressed with Atlético Madrid. And it's kind of crazy to see that if you really think about it, if he were to move to Barcelona in the summer of 2026, that would mean that you spent 2 years at Man City and 2 years at Atlético Madrid. Like this guy is like really moving to different clubs very fast. And all in all, I do think that the reason why is because his North Star is like what I would like to call it. His North Star is to eventually join FC Barcelona. Because we have to remember, back in the year of 2022, the discussions around Julian's name was about whether Man City or Barcelona could get him. That was like the main conversation. Everybody was like, okay, is it going to be Barcelona or Man City? And because Barcelona were such in a big financial mess and we could not sign anybody, Man City won the battle. And they told River Plate that they will spend 18 to 20 million euros on the player and nothing more, and that's it, done. And he joins Man City. And on that year, of course, we signed Ferran Torres because we couldn't sign anybody else. And then we fast forward to the summer of 2024, and yet again, that was a summer where Barcelona could not really sign a lot. I mean, like, bro, we signed Dani Olmo and Pau Victor, and we still struggled. And you know, La Liga was still pressuring us because they were saying that you cannot register the player, that you don't have enough in your wage bill, and Dani Olmo and Pau Victor needs to be deregistered. So there was no way for Barcelona to be able to sign Julian Alvarez in that summer, and especially knowing that his price tag was at 90 to 95 million euros, which is what Atletico Madrid did pay for. So I do think that Julian had to keep making moves that would end up making him closer to a team like FC Barcelona and wait it out and not stay at a specific club for too long. Hence the reason why I do think that this summer of 2026 timeframe does seem very ideal, because he is averaging 2 years per club. And if Barcelona were to incorporate Julian, we would have much better clinical finishing, better goal scoring instincts, better pressing, defensive contributions from the front. His flexibility to play across the front lines is very much going to be needed during a time frame where Barcelona have to play more than 70 games per season. And you know, this guy thrives under pressure. Already proven in Europe, already proven in South America. He has already proven what he could do on the biggest stage, like in the World Cup. And I believe that in the end, Barcelona will really benefit off of his high Q, high motor, a technical, gifted forward that could bridge the old Barcelona style with modern European intensity. This guy would be something amazing. So I do think that by the time we get into the summer of 2026, I can see a front line of Julian Alvarez as number 9, Lamine Yamal on the right with Nico Williams on the left, because I'm going to assume that Barcelona end up signing Nico in this summer. So I do expect to see a front line of Nico on the left, Julian striker, and Yamal on the right with Raphinha as our number 10. It will give us a lot of, I would just say, a lot of pressing intensity, a lot of goal scoring opportunities. Our transition to the attack is going to be very fluid because we have the athleticism through all of these players. And I think that is going to be amazing. So all in all, this is a team that I would really back, a team that I think that can win it all. And most importantly, I think that the reason why Julian Alvarez is really going to be eyed on by Barcelona is because that is going to be Joan Laporta's last summer, and he's going to want to go for a third term. Joan Laporta does not want to leave. He even said a couple of weeks ago, he stated, you know, we're building something great at Barcelona, and I don't find it ideal for us to stop now or anytime soon. And he wants more years. So one of the ways that he does plan on trying to seduce the socios and the voters, right? Because there will be a voting stage and voting phase around the summer of 2026. You know, Joan Laporta is going to say, hey, look, you guys are going to be voting. There is going to be, you know, people like, let's just say Victor Font or whatever. I don't know who's going to come in, but just know that we are on the correct path. We have the Spotify Camp Nou that we have just played in. Everything's going well. And I'd also do want to sign Julian Alvarez to complete this squad. It's one hell of a pitch that I believe Joan Laporta can really complete. And so let's move forward from there. And now let's talk about Lenglet, because it is official. Atletico Madrid confirmed that Lenglet has joined them in a 3-year contract until 2028. And it is also official that Barcelona and Lenglet have reached an agreement to terminate the contract linking the two parties, meaning that Barcelona are going to be saving 32 million euros gross in income and on their wage bill, which is a huge deal because Barcelona were about to pay Lenglet 16 million euros per season for the next 2 years because he had 2 more years at Barcelona, meaning, like I've said, 16 times 2 is 32 million euros gross saved. That is no longer going to be paid by Barcelona anymore. And one of the people that work closely at Barcelona stated, Lenglet's release is more significant than it seems in terms of freeing up wages. He was on a very high salary, and it gives the club room to maneuver. I do think that this is one of the things that Barcelona had to get done in this summer that I think Javier Tebas was talking about. Javier Tebas stated a couple of days ago, and I quote, "Barcelona knows what it has to do. I won't reveal any more details. They know the rules. I hope they don't leave things hanging until the last moment like they did last season, which wasn't good for us." And so he's basically saying like, look, I don't want anything to happen in the very last few days of the transfer window. I don't want them to try and like let go of certain players in the last 2 weeks. It's just going to be a headache. There might not be enough time, and there might not even be a buyer. But Barcelona, looking at what we're doing in this summer, we're getting things done very early. Like, we have just terminated the contract of Lenglet not even halfway through June, and we have a lot of time left. Now, knowing that we're going to have our wage bill cleared of 32 million euros, I wonder who Barcelona can invite now in terms of new signings. And I hope that maybe with these 32 million euros gross that has been saved can be lended towards a player like Nico Williams, a player that I think is very much achievable in terms of the release clause. But of course, we always talked about his wage demands. I believe that we can meet those wage demands with the amount of money that we have been saving through Lenglet's termination. So once again, it's a huge deal. A lot of big deals are going on at Barcelona, and I hope that Barcelona move quickly. Now, looking at the last conversation, right? Lamine Yamal states here, according to the Transfermarkt, that right now, in terms of La Liga, right? Let's just talk about La Liga. Transfermarkt has claimed that Lamine Yamal is the most highly valued player in the league, ranking at 200 million euros. He's number one, so he is higher than Bellingham, higher than Mbappé, higher than Vinicius, and even his own teammates like Pedri, Raphinha, Cubarsí, and Atlético Madrid's Julian Alvarez, which is a player that we have just discussed, right? It's a huge deal, right? Because Lamine Yamal, the fact that he's being valued at 200 million euros, I'm going to explain two different reasons why this is a huge deal. Point number one, sporting prestige and club image, right? This really does benefit FC Barcelona. We're going to have much more global recognition. Having the most valuable player in the world boosts Barcelona's global brand and reputation, reminding everyone that La Masia still produces generational talent. It also gives us recruitment power. Talented young players are more likely to join a club known for developing players like Lamine Yamal. So there could be youngsters at the age of 18, 19, 20, maybe even 21 years old that's going to say, I want to go to a team like Barcelona because look at what happened with Lamine Yamal. They know how to grow these players. They know how to make them better. Even if I'm 20 to 21 years old, they can make me better like how they did with Yamal. And so it does signal that Barcelona is once again becoming the best place in the world for the youth to really grow. And then we also have the sponsor appeal, of course. Sponsors want to be associated with elite names, and Yamal's status can increase the sponsorship value and make the partnership and negotiations much easier. Point number two, financial leverage. There's a lot of asset strength that Barcelona is building here because a 200 million euro valuation makes Yamal one of Barcelona's most valuable assets. This gives them more negotiation power in financial restructuring or when discussing guarantees with La Liga. There's also a lot of insurance value. Barcelona can protect their investment by securing better insurance terms for the player's health and long-term career. And most importantly, the loan guarantees. If Barcelona ever needs to secure financing, Yamal's value adds to the club's overall portfolio strength. And that's similar to owning like a blue chip stock, which is insane. So once again, congratulations to Barcelona, Joan Laporta, and Deco for really building this great sporting project and recognizing that their biggest talent is Lamine Yamal and setting him up for success, because that is the reason why, as of now, he is worth 200 million euros, and maybe in about 2 or 3 years, it's going to skyrocket to even more. So that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.